and Instagram pages right now, as well as on DAB digital radio across Pembrokeshire, the PWR app, your smart speakers, and the website. And it is good to be with you on Christmas Eve, this Monday night. And between now and 9, we want you to get involved with the show. We'll be reflecting on some of our favourite sporting moments from the last 12 months, both here in Pembrokeshire, nationally and internationally as well. So give us some of your favourite memories from the sporting year that was 2024. We'll also look ahead to some of the Christmas sport that will be going on across the county and get you up to date with some of the weekend's action and latest news as well. And with me in the studio in Haverfordwest this evening, Fraser Watson and Tom Dyer. So let's get going. Good evening to you both. Tom looking very festive in his Christmas jumper. Fraser didn't quite get the memo, I don't think, this year. How are we both doing? All right?
In the wash, ready for tomorrow. Yeah, not too bad. Been a long weekend, covering a few things and feeling a little tired and always away from it, but all right. And like everyone else, gearing up for the madness before it's all over in about 5 minutes.
Exactly. Yeah, it does feel like, with it being a midweek Christmas day as well, it does feel like we're all just counting down to it now. So it is really good to be with you, Tom. That is a great jumper as well.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
One of many. I've got one that lights up, which I failed to bring, so I apologise.
I've got about 5 on rotation this year, actually. So, I've been quite happy with my Christmas jumper game. Listen, this weekend, obviously there wasn't loads of sport going on across the county. Fraser, I think we should just start, though, by just referring back to an interview you did in the first hour of the show, and people will be able to catch up with that again on the catch-up button at purewestradio.com. But you spoke to a St David's stalwart himself in Jack Dudley, something of a legend at St David's, and he was paying tribute to John James, who sadly passed away. It's awful at this time of year to lose anyone, and we pass our very best wishes to John's family. But yourself, as someone really connected with St David's, you must feel that loss. And it was a nice interview you did paying tribute to John earlier today.
Yeah, dark cloud hanging over St David's this Christmas. St David's Rugby Club, has to be said, Ben. Just a true character. I can't embrace John any better than when Jack did in that first hour. Jack, of course, went back decades with him as a player, a coach, a team manager, a committee man, and just a general volunteer. And then almost one of the last of his breed, a thoroughly honest man as well, as me and Jack joked about a little bit in terms of his work with running the line and being a touch judge and so on. And quite a few people, actually, Eaton-Evans was one from Fishguard, been in touch with me this week to say the same. So, a truly sad day for him to go. And I think there is a game, I think, on Unboxing Day in St David's and games immediately after New Year in January, where I imagine poignant tributes will be paid. But sad news, Ben. There's no dressing it up.
Yeah, and we do pass our very best wishes to his family and friends. Thank you, Fraser, for that. A sad way for the Christmas festivities to start in St David's, no doubt about that. And you will be able to hear that again on the catch-up button on the website at purewestradio.com. So this weekend, there was limited live action. There was a nail-biting win for Narberth, though, wasn't there? And it was great to hear from Liam Gadd in the first hour of the show. And we've always said this year, he's always fronted up. He's always spoken to KT after the game, and we're really grateful to him for that, because it's been a tricky start. So just to get over the line, and even by a point, phrase, that's a win they'll be really pleased with, I think.
A vital win where you look where Newcastle Emlyn are below them in the bottom two. With game management, I'm imagining maybe a little disappointed. I think they're 18-10 up, then to go 18-17 and what have you, and left hanging on a little bit. But from what I can gather, the wind made it extremely difficult conditions as well. And actually, Sean Leonard, who was a Cardigan player, was playing for Newcastle Emlyn. He struggled in the wind. I think missed 4 or 5 goal kicks, which proved crucial. But having said that, it was a game they just had to win. And all of a sudden, from looking like no hopers in terms of survival, actually, it has to be said at one point, they've got a real chance of staying up now. It's going to be a dogfight to the end for Narberth. They're going to have to beat the bottom two below them again, I believe that, and maybe pick off another one as well. But they've dug in. They've not folded when the going got tough, and they're coming through it a bit now. So it's a good sign.
Yeah, and limited other action, wasn't there, in the county this weekend, Phrase? Did you like that when you were playing? Did you enjoy having the break over Christmas, or would you have liked to have been in action?
Yeah, I honestly didn't like it, Ben. I think this perception, I think a few authorities, they do. obviously, it's named Black Friday right here. We won't go into details. Tom's smiling, but everyone knows in Pembrokeshire what that means on a Friday before Christmas. And there used to be games afterwards on the Saturday with the Pembrokeshire Football League, and if there was so much as mountain dew, a lot of teams would be calling them off for a waterlogged pitch or a breath of wind. And I remember captaining St David's one day after Black Friday when we played St Clair's at home, and St Clair's were riding high, and we actually beat them that day. But as soon as they came off the bus, I had a chance. I never saw so many zombies come off the bus in one place. So no, I think it is probably appeasing to this generation. People won't like me saying that a little too much to do it. I think, look, if you're going to go out on the Friday before Christmas and you've got sport the next day, either you take the hit and go hangover, or you don't drink, and you play sport. But unfortunately, that was maybe an attitude from an era where sport was more a priority for youngsters and local people. And I'm not taking aim at anyone there, but I think the authorities have maybe just taken the easy option now and just don't schedule games. But, remember, we'd stormed Darrow a couple of weeks ago and everything was wiped out. Today was a perfect chance to replay them. Instead, if we get more weather problems in January, February, it pushes everything back again. So it'd be interesting to see if we have complaints if teams do go 4 or 5 weeks without playing after Christmas now. Yeah,
no, agreed. And also, I'd imagine, I don't know what the crowd was at Narberth on Saturday, but the Saturday before Christmas, there'll be people back in the county visiting family and friends. It is an opportunity to get everyone together in the club after the game, and it's a nice atmosphere too. And you just wonder whether by not having games on that Saturday, clubs have missed out on a chance to make some much needed revenue as well behind the bar.
And we'll say, in fairness to Narberth, they've always embraced that date. They always have, especially if they had a home game or tried to have a home game. I've been there before when there's been nothing else on, actually, apart from a Narberth game. And they do get a huge crowd because it's the only thing that's on, and inevitably everyone heads there. And, Narberth, I suppose, are technically semi-professional players, so there is payment involved, and they're in the Premiership fighting for their lives. So I'm sorry, it doesn't matter what your friends are doing on the last Friday before Christmas. You should be responsible if you're selected, and they obviously were, and they'll be better for it. They've got a vital win. So I totally agree with you, Ben. I think playing local sport, it does mean the occasional sacrifice, and look as well, it's local sport. No one's saying that Johnson or even Broadhaven second in Division 5, no offence to, no one's asking him to be teetotal all Friday or rock up having eaten chicken and rice and drunk water all day, but I think you could have played games.
I think Saturday the 21st of December we could have had games. I'd be interested anyone watching who would have liked to have played over the weekend, football or rugby, or something else. Give us a message. Were you in favour? How about you, Tom? Would you have had a game on Saturday? If I wasn't a musician, I would have definitely played. I had 3 gigs instead, sadly, so I was here, there, and everywhere. But as you say, it's far enough away from Christmas. It's actually let's have this as the last one. So you got your Black Friday, have fun, play a game of football, and then have more fun, because a lot of clubs actually had their Christmas dues on that Saturday.
Yeah, that's right.
So they're all together anyway. So why not play a game beforehand?
Yeah,
I'm with you on that. I think that's the sensible thing. Maybe we should see that return next year. Games on the Saturday before Christmas. I think they're a good thing. I really do. And what about the Boxing Day fixture, Fraser? Did you ever play on Boxing Day back in the day?
I mean, I did a few times, Ben. Actually, and it's a shame, obviously, Gordon Unwell not with us tonight. He would tell you a lot more about this. In the old Pembrokeshire League, certainly in rugby, they'd arrange local derbies for that Boxing Day. And like you just talked about Narberth there, huge occasions. In fact, I touched on it with Eaton-Evans in the interview last week of Fishguard. Yeah. And I would look again, it's probably unrealistic now, given where we just talked about in terms of sport being a priority at community level, community game level now, and people having different commitments. But to have the derbies on Boxing Day were just massive occasions. Haverfordwest and Langham have stuck to it. I'd love to see the league, even the WRU league, arrange it so that local derbies were played, or if not, just friendlies. Things like Milford versus Nayland, St David's versus Fishguard, Haverfordwest versus Langham. Huge occasions. Yeah. There's still stuff that goes on, old boys matches and veterans matches and things, and we'll talk about a few of them coming up now. But unfortunately, a lot of them tend to be a little more of maybe token gesture now, as opposed to real big day. So I would love to see I would love to see derbies return on Boxing Day.
And we do know on this show, and I have to hold my hands up when it comes to the definition of a derby. I will leave it to you guys to
I'm not sure
call
half of us would
those.
play Ammanford.
If you left it to me to schedule, we'd have a few arguments, probably, wouldn't we? I think I can understand the Boxing Day games maybe not happening more than I can the Saturday before Christmas. And what I would probably say is make that Saturday before Christmas that big occasion.
Yeah, well, there's that too.
Yeah, I can understand to an extent. I think when players aren't playing professionally, family time is important as well, isn't it? So actually, maybe saying don't travel too far on Boxing Day isn't a bad thing. But I do think that Saturday before Christmas is a real good opportunity to get people together, and they become really good occasions that you talk about afterwards, and like you just have there, remembering some of the days gone by as well. So yeah, a shame we didn't get any in, but well done, as we said at the start, to Narberth for getting that win over the line. One team that do play on Boxing Day will be Haverfordwest County, and they go to Newtown, and I tell you, that's not an easy journey, is it, to make on Boxing Day? That's quite a decent trip.
No, that's right. I think the weather does clear up, and that might sound an insignificant thing to say at Premier League level, but you wouldn't have wanted some of the current winds and storms we have to be travelling that far in that weather. No, that won't be an easy trip at all. Of course, it won't. It is a tricky period. It is Boxing Day, like you say, and they'll have to go up there fully focused and everything into it, because you'd like to think, and I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have one eye on this grand opening, obviously on January the 1st at home to Aberystwyth Town at all. I don't think that would be the case, but I'm sure Tony Pennick will remind them of it. But they're in good form. They're cemented for a top 6 place, and they won't want to let anything slip over the festive period now.
No, indeed. And yeah, we're looking forward to that game on New Year's Day, 1st of Jan 2025 as well. Haverfordwest County, home to Aberystwyth. I think we're going to be there, Pure West Radio, and there's lots happening at the Oggy Bridge Meadow Stadium on that day. I'll tell you what is happening on Christmas Day. We should give this a mention, because I might do one, actually. There's a couple of park runs going on in the county, and a real mention for the volunteers that organise those as well, and give up their Christmas morning to do it. So if you do fancy one, 5K, you can do Milford Waterfront on Christmas Day, and you can do Haverfordwest as well. And actually, so I've never done one on Christmas morning. I'm hoping to do one this year. They're the brilliant turnouts they get across the whole country for the Christmas Day park run. Are you going to be doing one, Tom?
I'm going to be live in the studio, so I'm going to miss it. I'll be doing the breakfast show here live on your Christmas Day morning. But I have done a Christmas Day one in the past on the other side of the world. I did a Christmas Day park run in Australia.
Wow, I bet that's that's excellent. What was that like? Was that good?
They had to do it an hour early because it was too hot at 9 o'clock, so we did it at 8 o'clock.
Good problem to have on Christmas Day.
Running around with my Santa hat on, my shorts and t-shirt.
I believe Milford and Haverfordwest actually schedule them so that people can actually compete in 2, or compete's the wrong word, but take part in 2 if they want to, and some do embrace that. So, no, you're right. They are very well attended, surprisingly well attended.
Yeah, no, indeed. Yourself, Fraser, will you Christmas Day run? Is that something that's on your agenda, or does Mrs. Watson say no?
Yeah, I think Mrs. Watson and the 2 mini Watsons would have something to say about that, but I'll log the idea for one day.
You signed up for another one, aren't you, Fraser?
What's that?
You signed up for another one between.
I have. That's right. Yeah, we got Broadhaven on the 29th. That's been moved to between Christmas and New Year's as a new experiment. So that'll be 10k on that horrendous hill and those winds. So I'm sure that'll make up for any run I don't do on Boxing Day or Christmas Day.
Is that the Christmas pudding run?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and that's always really well attended as well. There's still plenty of bits and bobs happening over the Christmas period, no doubt about that, which is good, even though we didn't get much at the weekend, of course. Tell you what, we did get lots of goals in the Premier League. As our resident Liverpool fan, Tom, I'm sure you enjoyed Tottenham Liverpool a bit more than I did yesterday.
I'm aware of a score and a 9-goal thriller.
I never thought I would say that 6-3 really flattered us as well.
Oh, God.
Genuinely, a 5-1. I was thinking this could be 7-8-1 easily.
Funny enough, I spoke to a Liverpool friend before the game, and I did joke that this was always my favourite Premier League fixture as a neutral, and I reckon it'd be 7-4 Liverpool. I mean, and then towards the closing stages, he actually texted back to check, did you actually put money on this? Because this could happen here, But yeah, the bonkers game. I mean, look, we talk about Tottenham a lot, and we're such an exciting team to watch, but I mean, imagine you, Ben, even the League Cup quarter-final win must have been tearing your hair out in the last couple of games. It's there's philosophy and there's naivety, and I think they've just, well, to say they've bordered on the latter in the last couple of games would be generous. They've taken it to the extreme.
Yeah, it's a lack of control, I think, in matches that's absolutely a nightmare at the moment.
Yeah.
And I think not changing that philosophy, it's cost Russell Martin his job really at Southampton, hasn't it? And I do wonder how long it's going to be before the same might happen to Ange, because I do think you know, as a coach in the Premier League, you do have to adapt to what's in front of you sometimes. And when your goalkeeper clearly can't play it on the deck, that isn't Fraser Forster at 37 strength, then you change your tactics, don't you? Surely, and just say, come on, for a bit we'll just go long and we'll just mix it a bit. Just don't see that happening. It made it easy for Liverpool at times and just cut through us, didn't they? So Swansea beaten as well, Fraser, at the weekend.
Very disappointing.
Not good for you either.
No, very disappointing actually, that performance. I watched it before I started work on Saturday 12:30 in Hull. Very, very flat. Lucky to be 1-1 at half time. Great header by Harry Darling. And then Hull, who won for a number of matches, was the better side again after the break. And slight concern there now, Ben. I think there is still, I believe, a 9-8 point gap between relegation, and you could look at it and say they're 2 wins away from playoff contention, but playoffs aren't realistic. That sort of form, you can see them slipping down towards a relegation battle if they're not careful. It shouldn't happen, but they won't want many ball performances like that in January, that's for sure. And Cliff James, Nottingham Forest fan, just chiming in there. Not surprised he's happy too. Done very well. Nuno superbly, actually. Surprise package. Will be interesting if there is the onus on them to change tactics and come out and win games, and teams start coming to them and doing what they like to do and sit deep and be compact. But he's got them organised and doing brilliantly. And it's good to see. Big club without history.
I watched Forest game on Match of the Day, and I thought they played really well. One of the performances of the weekend, actually, at Brentford, who are good at home as well. Nuno, the manager that got away really for Tottenham, the job he's doing at the moment. Amazing, and to see them, I think it's their highest they've been at Christmas for 30 years, which is incredible, really. So I think they're definitely a tricky team, and Tottenham play them next as well, Cliff. So I'm not hugely looking forward to that one. And what's going on with Man City? And at what point do we say this is a problem as well? I mean, you must have been reporting that a bit, Fraser. Do you think?
Yeah, hugely.
Do you think is there any world where Pep walks away if this carries on?
I think if this was to carry on for another 6, 7, 8 matches, he would all of a sudden face a very, very harrowing decision. Look, I said to you, I think we spoke last week, I wasn't surprised. I'm not surprised there's been a drop-off this season. I think when you are that manically intense and you don't bring in new faces and you compete for 4 trophies at elite level, playing that schedule, playing the way they do, year in after year, there will be a year when it takes its toll and you drop off. It happened to them in the COVID season when Liverpool won the league. It's happening to them now. I never envisaged the scale of the drop-off being this big. I thought they might drop off the pace in the title race. I never thought we'd be talking about sneaking to the top half and not getting top 4, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah. No, it's unbelievable, really. And well done to Aston Villa, who actually played very well.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, City's drop-off has been quite something to see, hasn't it? And it's hard. We were talking about this last night. It's hard to see. I can't see them going on one of these runs they normally do. They do this, don't they? But there's just it doesn't feel like they're going to be able to turn this round like that. So, yeah, where City finish is going to be very interesting, and it does open up that top 4 for someone like Chelsea, like a Forest, like Aston Villa to maybe push it, because I think City are going to struggle to be in that top 4 unless there's something really dramatic happens. Listen, we will take a moment on part 1 of tonight's show, but we'll come back in part 2, and we'd love to hear from you. Favourite sporting moments of 2024. It was an Olympic year, of course, and Pembrokeshire, as ever, we punched our weight, didn't we, at the Olympics and Paralympics. So we'll talk about some of our favourite sporting moments from a Pembrokeshire perspective in part 2, and some of our favourite national ones as well. And we'll just have a look ahead to some more of the sport that is coming up around the county over the weekend, including maybe some of those little sporting traditions that Fraser's mentioned. So we'll do some of that as well in just a sec. Good to have you with us. It's Monday evening, Christmas Eve, and it's Pure West Sport.
Eaton-Evans.